Totally not ready, but sick of making you guys wait. And I figured you could just watch me get ready. So let's see. I don't have the mic plugged in. This should help. Tremendous amount. Is that better? So as you can see, I redid things just like I mentioned that I might. And yeah, once I touch something in the studio, it's like the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle comes down. So here we are. Lights, camera, action. Let's go. How are you guys? Sorry to keep you waiting. So sorry. I should have set it for 4 o'clock to begin with. You know, too much family in the freaking house. Like, you know, I work here. I work at home, basically. So it's really hard to get stuff done. Summer. My oldest kid moved back in for a week in between her apartments. My husband is awake. He's usually asleep because he works the night shift, but he worked a day shift yesterday. So just too much going on in the house. But and then redoing stuff. But is it so freaking cool? Is it worth the wait? And I feel like I need hand sani, but I don't see. Oh, here, good. I got some right here. All right. How's the lighting? How's my hair? How's my stupid shirt? How are you guys? More importantly, as you can see, I'm all fired up. I'm totally excited about decluttering. Oh, I hate clutter. And it's such an eyesore, even when it's all cool stuff. But man, is this the coolest stuff? We got the jellyfish. We got the Liberty Bell, which I've been trying to figure out how to incorporate that Liberty Bell forever because I got it a while ago. Let's see. Without knocking anything down, let me adjust. That's funny. I say without knocking anything down. That's impossible. Everything will come down. It's all held together with spit and duct tape, right? Okay, I'm here. I'm going to calm down. Let me read what you got going on. Patricia Moss, hi, got you all strapped around my waist because I'm landscaping. Probably won't hear much out of me, but I'm here listening. That is so cool, Patricia. I did that a ton. That's kind of how I got into YouTube, was landscaping and watching or listening to the videos. And yeah, I still have an issue when people are showing you things and not talking, because it's like I'm extremely busy. Like I do like to actually watch the videos, but you know, I got other things I got to do too. So I can't always watch the videos, but I can listen. So, you know what? I'm noticing that my lights are out of order. So here I have these little remote controls that control a lot of these lights. And I'm going to turn this one. Oh, it's not working. I wonder what's wrong with. Oh, you know what happened? I dropped this in my freaking coffee yesterday. That's what happened. I'm going to have to put it in a bowl of rice. Okay, I guess I'll have to give up on that. Dang, that's crazy. So it turned it off. But if I try turning it on, because I want it to be like purple, not greenish blue up there. If I mess around with it too much, I'll just screw it all up. So why don't I just forget about it and make an adjustment? Can you still see all the cool crap I want you to see? I think so. Good enough. Okay. Fret. I told you I'm calming down. I didn't mean to lie. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. The chakras are a little bit misaligned. This is the stuff that I fret with before I start, and why I would keep pushing the clock back, because it's like, okay, is it all lined up? You know, I adjust one thing and then that's the domino effect. Hit your like button. Let's start talking cases. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an infotainment platform. This is a cool little lamp that sometimes I don't know if that'll be better or worse. It seemed like I was really washed out yesterday, but maybe that's just me. I'm going to put this up here. I think I need a little bit more light up there. I'm going to quit. I keep saying I'm going to quit, but I'm lying. I'm not quitting, am I? Put that one over there. That one right there. Okay, now I'm reading your stuff, and I did my disclaimer. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an infotainment platform. I said all that. Please like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Or as Hal Spark says, etc., etc., etc. I love it when he says that. It's hilarious. I love it when he does the Elmo, hello. It's so stupid, and it's so funny. He does it to make fun of people. Oh, wow. Anyway, Patricia looks great. You look great. Okay, I agree. I don't like when people show you things and have stuff you have to read, because I listen a lot but not watch. I know, and then you have to like screenshot it. I know that there's some channels that do that, and that's fine if that's how they want to do it. But yeah, I'm on a different wavelength. I don't see Fred. Oh no, where'd he go? So a lot of things are getting shut down, you guys. I woke up and watched a Sean Atwood video it was a live stream a few hours before I watched it. It was an hour and 44 minutes long. I put a link to it in the description already, because I was like, oh crap, man. I watched the first 50 minutes of it, and then it got taken down. And the whole 55 minutes, I was like, man, this is one of the best videos I've ever seen on the tube. And now it's taken down. Like, these MFs are working overtime. They are in full panic mode for the e-files, and all they're doing is showing their hand. So for that, we can thank them. If they weren't in such panic mode, you could go along with like, yeah, maybe his name is mentioned in there, but not his junk, not his package. So, I think it's as bad as anybody could imagine, if not worse. That's my own personal opinion. And I think a lot of these channels that are saying, oh, I'm sure his name is in there, but I'm sure it's not as bad as what people think. I think those channels are just afraid of getting sued, honestly. And it's just like, man, do not comply with the authoritarianism. Do not comply in advance, especially to the authoritarianism. That's how they get you around the throat. So what did I use for the thumbnail for this one? Oh, goodness. I used a still shot of Ivanka doing her Handmaid's Tale anime hanging on the wall in the Winston Churchill bunker, with her father having a very aggressive, angry look on his face, not showing his teeth, sucking in his lips. Remember what Shan says about when people suck in their lips? And I know a lot of body behavior analysis people say things about when people show their teeth or hide their teeth. Oh, and his thumbs on his belt loop and his hands by his groin, and just the whole picture. And then it's even kind of weirder that there's people right there behind him. There's like two men and a woman that, they all look like they're probably staff of the El Presidente. But it's just such a spooky effing picture. That's the one I used yesterday for the thumbnail, right? And then today I used the still shot of Ivanka where she's in her old bedroom, the lavender room on the 68th floor of the Trump Tower. I think the video is probably roughly 20 years old, I'm guessing. I don't really know. Maybe 10 years old. I know it's both of that photograph in the Winston Churchill war room bunker and the video. I know that they both circulated the interwebs like 10 years ago, and then they've just resurfaced in the last couple of days. I'd never seen them before. So the still shot that I took of Ivanka, did I say Ivana earlier? Sorry if I did. They make it so confusing with that one letter, don't they? So the still shot of her, first of all, her bed with the drapes and the color. I'm just going to say it. Forgive me. And trigger warning, please. turn it off if you can't handle it. It's very much looking like a woman's private part. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but if you haven't noticed it, you can maybe look at the thumbnail of this video that we're doing right now, and the curtain that's like hanging over her bed. So it's kind of like a mosquito curtain or a princess thing. Let me see if I can do this with my hands with still being able to talk into the mic. So it kind of hangs down in the middle, kind of, again, trigger warning, kind of like a clitoris. And then the curtains drape down like that, a lot like labia. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's gross. But it looks to me like vagina art there. Am I going to get my video live stream shut down now? It's a medical term. It's art. I mean, there's a lot of phallic art. There's a lot of more female parts art. That's what that bed canopy thing reminds me of. And what's funny is there's the show that my daughter, who's 23, she used to watch it a lot. She quit watching it, thank God, because it was a horrible show. It was funny, but it was bad. It was called Two Broke Girls. Have you guys heard of it? And it was just like a lot of slapstick, stupid, almost like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie kind of dumb jokes. And one of them is really rich, I think, and the other one is really poor. But anyway, one of them has a bed that kind of looks like that, but they kind of amp it up and they call it that. And I showed the photograph to my daughter, the still shot, and she was just like, what? And I was like, that show you used to watch, The Two Broke Girls. And she was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I never watched a show with a bed like that. I was like, yeah, you did. And it was like part of the storyline. It was pretty crude. And she was like, no. And I'm like, so you blocked it out. It was that bad. And then she Googled it, Two Broke Girls with the, vajayjay bed, and it came right up. So you can do that too if you want. But anyway, that look on Ivanka's face when she starts talking about her bed, and then she slowly shifts her focus to the view, and she's got a collar that is kind of choke worthy as well, but she looks to me like she's disassociating and having flashbacks from looking at the bed. That's my imagination. I know. That's my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to stay caught up with you. I'm hoping you're going to tell us what he said. Who said? Oh, what Sean Atwood said. Man, so I didn't know who the man was that he was interviewing. I don't think. Let me look at my notes. I think I have a few notes, and I have a hair clip too in case I need some help with my crazy hair. I will tell you as much as I can. Fortunately, I was watching it attentively. A lot of times I'm sort of watching things half attentively because I'm doing other stuff. And so I was riveted. I was very, very riveted. So let me read the rest of your comments, and then I'll try to tell you what I remember and look at my notes. It was insanity. Some of it was really out there, Annabes. Let me just spit this part out. They were talking about an article that I think just came out today, and I looked it up while they were talking about it, and it was crazy. It wasn't talking about baby farms or anything like that. It was talking about fetus farms. So they were saying that Ghislaine was going to drop a bomb about the fetus farms. And I was just like, that's where some of it was like way over the top. And again, I do think that that's way over the top, and I don't think that that is something that we're ever going to hear about, but I also think that it's entirely possible, if not probable. That's just my opinion. Man, I told you yesterday, I'm getting a new one of these things, because this thing is just not as good as it used to be. And the other one my cat ate, so I need a new mic. Like I said, I am demanding it from my family for my birthday, which is just in a couple of weeks. And then I turn 29 again. I miss Shan. I know, me too. Me too. She was on a couple of months ago. She did a live stream, but what did she say about people sucking in their lips? You know, it was in analysis of all the Kylie Rodney stuff, and that people suck in their lips when they're, I think she basically said when they're trying to eat their words. I think that was her message. But again, we can Google. Let's just see what the Google says. So hold on a second. Oh man, I've got so much to discuss with you guys. If I can remember it all, I've got some notes, but I don't think I have that many notes. So let's see. Trying to Google that. What do behavior analysis experts say about sucking in your lips? This is stupid stuff. 39 mouth body language gestures to stop in your next conversation. Lip sucking and lip biting in the primary detention. The dangers of lip sucking, oral fixation, and autism. What does it mean when people show their teeth or hide their teeth when they're speaking? When someone shows their teeth while speaking, it can indicate a range of emotions from genuine happiness and warmth to aggression or even a threat. Conversely, hiding teeth, often by covering the mouth or smiling with the lips closed, can be a sign of insecurity, embarrassment, or even a desire to appear less threatening or submissive. Here's a more detailed breakdown. I'm going to set that down. It's not that interesting. I want to stay caught up with you guys. Didn't find quite what I was looking for. We'll have to call Shan. So yeah, this top is kind of weird on me. Again, it's like things get weird with the camera angle. It's so frustrating. But then again, I am quite the perfectionist. I try not to be. And my chair is always squeaking. And I took the black covers off the arm. So, you know, it might be annoying to see that silver and the red, but I don't know. Just experimenting. This whole thing is just a science experiment, right? Thanks. The clinical name for it. Oh, I hated that show. So terrible. Yeah, Sean Atwood. I like the top. Oh, thank you, Annabise. I like the zigzag thing. What I don't like is you can't see my necklace. Oh my God, and I don't have earrings on. The horrors. I'm going to have to put some earrings on. I Sadi, 1 second. I'm right here. I'm coming right back. Okay. I just can't live without earrings. It's sort of like not having pants on, which I would never do. I always make jokes about that. But yeah, this weird camera angle like shows below the waist too. So I can't do the video in my underpants like I used to. No, just kidding. I shouldn't even joke about such things. Let's get serious, right? I love your little lip emoji. It reminds me of the Rocky Horror show, Rocky Horror Picture Show. So Sean Atwood, let's see my notes. Also, Adam Mockler was doing a live stream and he got frozen up. I think his live stream is still on. But I was just like, damn, they are working overtime. So let's see. They said something on the Sean Atwood show about how Netanyahu, like, how do I say it? Well, that he starves, that he basically unalives his victims after he abuses them, sometimes with a pew pew and sometimes just by starving them to death. That was pretty out there. Like, I don't know what they were talking about. I really don't. I'm just like, dang, but I wrote that down. And then I also caught some House Sparks, and House Sparks really sparked my imagination with his guest, and I didn't know his guest either. But they were talking about dry snitching, how a lot of times the Republicans dry snitch on themselves. I think that, and they dry snitch on each other, but I think that they dry snitch on themselves. And that things like Trumpster Fire saying that Bill Clinton was on the Lolita 28 times. It's like, where did he get that really specific number? Who did he talk to, or what did he see? Or when he says some things that indicate that he was an eyewitness to something, basically implicating himself, it's kind of funny. Kind of funny, not funny, right? I don't know why I'm typing wrong words today. That's funny. When I wrote thanks, I meant that. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let me see where it says that. I've had dreams that I'm out in public with no pants on. Oh, that's the worst, isn't it? And so it word changed you again. So it says, when I wrote thanks, I meant that, but you probably were trying to say, when I wrote they, I meant that. And yeah, some of that is, fat thumbs, as I say, and some of it is the autocorrect. And sometimes it's like, as soon as you hit send, it changes your word to some word that you did not do. I think I told you about the time I sent my friend Lee a message with her name in it. And as soon as I hit send, the spell check changed it to leech. I was just like, dear God. I apologize profusely, but it's still a huge joke between the two of us. It's so funny. I was just like, what the F, spell check? Like, why would you do that to me and my friend Leech? Patricia says, Jazzy, I was the first one to comment and you didn't see it. I just wanted you to know I'm listening while landscaping, so you won't hear much from me, but I'm here with you all. Actually, I did see it and I read it out loud, sweetheart. I did. So I don't know if I was on mute or something. I mean, as far as I know, I read it. So because I knew you were landscaping and all that. And yeah, I really appreciate your comments. And I'm glad that you said something. Because let me go back. It's still there. Yeah. At 3:55 before I came on live, it says, got you all strapped. Yeah, I thought it was so cute. Got you all strapped around my waist because I'm landscaping. Probably won't hear much out of me, but I'm here listening. So yeah, then we kind of talked about how hard it is to watch videos where you actually have to be looking at the screen because we're always doing other stuff. And there's Mr. Fred Field. Missed the start. No notification ever. See? So one of the things they were talking about on Adam Mockler's show was they were talking specifically about Benny Johnson, if you guys know who that weirdo is. He's like a right-wing talk show host on YouTube who's extremely popular. I think he has 2 million subs. 2 million subscribers, but his subscribers jettisoned up when his views were actually like tanking. So that's artificial. And it kind of made me feel good because, I've flatlined it at 4,000 subs and under for like 2.5 years straight or something. I don't even know. And I try not to worry about it. And I fully am convinced that a lot of it is due to the shadow banning, which, if I'm right, again, I always take that as a compliment. But I don't know that I'm right. It might just be because nobody's interested, and because I don't do like the bait and switch thumbnails, so people just go with the bait and switch ones of other channels. Anyway, I feel like I have a buttload of the ban thing with the thing that Peter Pan doesn't have, but Wendy sews it to him so that he does have it. And I've also learned that saying that word is one of those, or saying that phrase is one of those buzzwords and buzz phrases that can get flagged. So I need to quit saying it. So SB, right? So when you get SB'd, numbers go down, but when you get jacked, numbers go up. And when channels blow up artificially, you can usually tell. And some of that can be the people that own the YouTube, and some of it can be that you actually pay for it, like you pay money to get fake subs or something. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but all kinds of stupid stuff goes on with this platform. So that's why you got to be careful about what you consume and who you trust, because just because Benny Johnson looks like he has 2 million subscribers, he's an operative of the Trumpster fire. He is on the payroll. And I don't think it was him, but it might have been, or it was one like him. It might have actually been him the other day who said, I'm just not going to talk about these little e-files anymore. As per the instructions of dear leader, I'm going to trust our government to do their thing and move on to the next topic. And it's just so obvious that he'd been taken aside, so to speak, and spoken with about such things. Thanks for vouching for me, Annabise. Hi, Fred. Patricia, she read your comment. But I'm still glad that you said that, Patricia, just so you can let us know, what you are hearing or not hearing. Maybe you took a bathroom break. Maybe your phone hit mute without you realizing it or something. I don't know. Maybe you were distracted, talking to a friend, petting a cat, tickling a baby, smelling the roses. Oh man, I had a pink lady flower bloom right outside my living room window overnight. So this morning I was very happy about that. And I was just like, it's the simple pleasures that really do it sometimes. How are you feeling today, Fred? Anna B says, LOL, my apologies. Like I said, dear, I am just happy for you to say whatever's on your mind. And, I will do the same, and we can compare notes. And if we see things differently, it's cool. It's cool. It's good. It's good to be able to have those kinds of conflicts, right? I mean, seriously, that's what relationships are made of. You're always going to have conflicts. It's how you handle the conflicts that really makes the character of the relationship. So I learned that with all the trauma and grief work that I've done. I think that's one of the most profound things I've learned as a therapist. It's called narrative therapy, and it's not what happens to you in life that defines who you are. It's how you interpret what happens to you that defines who you are. So in that simple kind of shift in perspectives, it is extremely powerful. It's like giving you the pen to write your own story. Like your life is whatever you want it to be. Like if you were one of little E's victims or little T's victims, and then they're Ghislaine's getting out of jail free crap that is very likely to happen today or tomorrow, I believe, and a lot of people are expecting that. I mean, it's got to be absolutely devastating for the victims. And, a lot of times when people are traumatized and victimized, they write that into their life story of how they see themselves and what they've been through. And you kind of have to, you can't just like ignore it or disassociate. You can, but only for so long. You need to incorporate all of your life experiences into your psyche, into who you are. But how do you define yourself from that? Do you say, oh, well, I am worthless because I was treated poorly by these gross people? Or do you say, these gross people are really gross and they treat little kids extremely beyond poorly in the most disgusting manner, and they should all be hung by toenails over pits of alligators like in I Dream of Jeannie, and I am amazing because I survived it and because I can tell my story and because I don't let it define me. So that's the power of narrative therapy. And the puppy dogs are barking in unison because they're like, hell yeah, mom's right, she's telling it like it is. I'm pretty sure there's a dog walking by the house, which is just not allowed, according to the 3 pupperooskies that live here. My daughter and I took the 3 dogs on the longest walk last night. It was hilarious. They were just like, aren't we done yet? It was well over an hour. And we loved it. They loved it. Except the oldest one, Coco, the one with the cancer, she started limping like her. I don't think it's related to the cancer. She just has a hip issue. It could be related to the cancer, but anyway. Tangent. I just recently heard his name. The comment you just said, he'll trust the government. Yeah, that guy. Ugh. He's such a weirdo, but he's just like, he's a complete sellout, a complete hack. And yeah, he's cute. I'll give him that with his like preppy glasses and his like nerd look. He's a good looking young man, but what a freaking loser. Like disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. That says it all, waiting for them to bury the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. I take orders. Yes, I'm a lap dog. You want me to jump? How high and what time? And a pretty good no pain, just a little stiffness, but I am off work Sundays and Mondays. So today's a Monday. That's great, Fred. You can relax today. Yes, so today is like your Sunday. You know, Fred, you're reminding me, basically when little E was sentenced to the 13 months of quote unquote jail time, he pretty much only had to hang out there on Sundays. Like 12 hours a day, he was at his office, driven by his chauffeur. And 12 hours a day, he hung out there, being observed, maybe, by guards that he was paying out of his own bank account, with his cell unlocked, his cage. I mean, he really deserved to be in a cage. He really did. And Ghislaine deserves to be in a cage. And in my opinion, our whole administration deserves charges and litigation and jail time, in my opinion. That's just me, so I'll probably be put in a cage by the end of the day, right? And little Coco's scratching at the door to get in. I don't want to get up, Coco, but I will. I will. 1 second, you guys. Okay, so I've got Coco and I got Mookie in the house. Let me see what happens if I turn on my little pyramid light. This is one of my favorites. So I'm realizing that this is one of the only things that is still in the set other than the thumb. This little, what is that? Cherry blossoms. And then, of course, the Statue of Liberty. I tried looking up that thing that was shared with me in my live yesterday. I couldn't figure it out. What was it? I've got something really interesting. So I have all these notes that I didn't even realize that I had. Hold on, my brain. I'm a little scattered. Justice A to Z. So I have the A to Z. I've got the Statue of Liberty. I got the pyramid, the thumb, cherry blossoms, and that's it, right? I got a little bit of stuff down there. It's like a plant and some lights. Okay, I think it's good. And then the chakra tower. Simplifying, trying to simplify. I know. Let's just focus. What else? So what was this? The Statue of Liberty is Lucifer. Sunday cool teas. So I tried to look up the Sunday cool teas and I couldn't find anything. Is that like the name of the YouTube channel? Let's see. Sunday cool teas. Sunday Cool. Is that the name of the channel? Sunday Cool. And then, because I thought it was Sunday Cool Teas. This is like almost over 1.5 million subscribers. And then if I view channel, can I look up the thing about the Statue of Liberty being Statue of Liberty Lucifer? Yuck. Alpha Talks has something from a year ago about that. Morgue Official. Okay, I'll look it up more. Oh, here it is. Sunday Cool. Statue of Liberty. This is a short. This is a year ago. Matchup. See a resemblance. Wow. Just from the thumbnail. Creepy AF. Why? And then another channel has something short and sweet. Yeah, so it's a thing. Vitrioli says so too. A whole bunch of them do. Gross. Ugh, I don't even want that on my phone. Anyway, I appreciate the information because, yeah, maybe I don't want that. The Liberty Bell maybe can replace that. Maybe I'll do it that way. That sounds like a good idea to me, if that's a thing. Yuck. Oh, and I do want to clarify. I was completely tripping yesterday when I said that I went up in the torch with my grandparents. This is not how it happened. Only the maintenance people are allowed up there. There's like a ladder that goes up there, but it's not for the public. Inside of her arm, there's a ladder that goes up there, but I think it was a spiral staircase that went up to the crown. So from the crown, I could look at the torch, and I wanted to go in the torch, but I was told that that's not a thing for the tourists. So anybody who knows the Statue of Liberty watching that video yesterday would have been like, you did not go into the freaking torch. But for people that don't know the Statue of Liberty tour, you might have been like, wow, she got to go to the torch. No, nobody goes to the torch except the maintenance people. And it's kind of small, like getting up the spiral staircase. And I'd say I'm just like guesstimating like 20 people at a time can be looking out the windows of her crown. And, and then they move on, and then people just keep going up that spiral staircase to look out at the view. It seemed like it took forever to climb the whole interior of the Statue of Liberty, but I was 7. So, my legs were little. And I probably just wanted to get some ice cream the whole time. But I'm so glad my grandparents took me there and tortured me like that. And at the same trip, we got to go see the what do we call our Bell of Liberty in Pennsylvania? There's a name for it. Why am I blanking? Isn't it just called like the Liberty Bell? Hold on. Liberty Bell in Pennsylvania. I guess it's just called Liberty Bell, huh? That's funny. It should have a better name. But because it's Liberty Bell, I can use that instead of the freaking Statue of Liberty that has connections to something that I don't want no connection to. But yeah, that's funny that I'm like, Liberty Bell. No, it's got another name, but no, it doesn't. It was previously called the State House Bell or the Old State House Bell. It is an iconic symbol of American independence and is located in Philadelphia. So, yeah, and back then, I don't know if they still allow people to touch it, but you were allowed to touch it. And, the whole story of how they made it so heavy that it cracked the first time they tried to ring it because they didn't know what they were doing. But then they kept it, instead of melting it down, which I'm sure there was discussion like, well, maybe we should just melt it down and start over. But it's a very cool artifact or relic. I guess you'd call it a relic or an artifact. It's an antique, that's for sure. If she gets pardoned, I don't know. I think things will get worse for them. Exactly, Annabes. So I think it'll be, and when you say them, I'm sure you're talking about the Republicans, the MAGA hats. I would imagine if she does that, it'll blow things up, that it would be a very stupid move. However, I think that the Trumpster fire and his camp are absolutely desperate and they have nothing else. So they're probably, and they're such freaking rocket science geniuses. I mean, think about the people that he has himself surrounded with. They're just sycophants. They're stupid. They're not smart people, as he likes to say. They're not the high IQ people. They're the low IQ people. Like Blondie Bondi and Cha-Ching Patel and Bongino, Bongholio, Keg's Breath, Gnome, Puppy Killer, and Caroline with the K's. Like they're going to hatch some genius plan to get him out of trouble. No, they will F it up. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they think that they're so smart and they think that they can do this, but no, he's got no way out. And I think he's realizing that, it seems, but we'll see. I mean, I could be proven wrong. You never know. I've been wrong once or twice in my life. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. Anyway, yeah, my fear is for the victims, that in giving the crazy wicked witch a get out of jail free card, that's just going to be devastating for her victims. Absolutely devastating. Like she's like the only small piece of justice that they've kind of had. Just a sliver, a slice of it, and not very much of it. And then to have that undone. But I think that it'll have such blowback that in the end, it'll be better even for the victims, that it'll blow up in their faces. There'll be such backlash. They won't be able to recover if they do that. There'll be no way to recover. And I can't imagine that they won't do it because, like I said, I don't think they have any other option. And if she's the one who made the birthday letter surface, which I think she most likely was, I think that was a threat, and that was just her showing a sample of what she could do so that they would listen to her and give her time, because she'd been requesting a meeting. And to my understanding, she'd been requesting a meeting with Trumpster Fire for a very long time, and he was not giving her a meeting. So the only thing he did was in his first presidency when she was sentenced, and he said, "I wish her well." And we were all just like that was so cringeworthy, but it was so confusing because most people weren't tying it in. Maybe people were, but I thought early on, I thought that's such a crazy thing to say. The only reason he would say that is because he's afraid of her. He's afraid that if he doesn't say something nice, that she'll throw him under the bus. So, he's in a very powerful position as El Presidente, but he's already abused his power so much. If he hadn't already abused his power so much, he could probably do whatever the F he wanted with the situation and have it all go away. But now people are on to him. Even his base is on to him. And apparently, somebody, I think it was it was either Sean Atwood's or Hal Sparks. I think it was in Hal Sparks Live that someone in the comment section said that MAGA is the title of the highest ranking priest with the Titanic Church, Titanic, but with an S. And I was just like, wow, is that true? But before I could look it up, I think it was Hal and his guest addressed it and said, no, it's Magod, M-A-G-O-D. It's a different word. But still, I thought that that's interesting and similar enough to like perk your ears up, kind of like this thing being twinning with the Titanic one. Oh, I forgot to try to look that up. Oh, the thing that I looked up with the Sunday, what was it? Sunday teas thing. I don't even see where it is now. Oh, here it is. Sunday Cool. Because I think they wrote Sunday Cool Teas and like Tees, and I was like, huh? So when I tried to look it up, it just gave me a bunch of t-shirt stuff. But I think Sunday Cool is the name of the channel. But yeah, I'll look it up more later. I'll do a deep dive on it because that is really fascinating. It does look exactly the same, like no doubt about it. So I need to check that out some more. So I appreciate the information. I have been in the St. Louis Arch. Oh, I've driven through the St. Louis Arch. I didn't know you could go in that. That's way cool. I really love something you said a while back. I used to know it by heart. It's something like, if you have a problem and you talk about it, it's not a problem anymore. Oh, Patricia, you're so cute. I could just cry because that was, I think, a cliche that I invented when I was a therapist. Maybe I didn't invent it. Maybe I picked it up somewhere else. But that was like my Bible cliche. Like, if you can talk about it, it's not a problem anymore. It's only a problem if you can't talk about it as soon as you start talking about it. Because that was what I saw with my clients. It's like as soon as they started talking about it, even if it was something hideous, like what's in the freaking e-files, as hideous as it was, once you start talking about it, you work through it. So, even if you're the gross perpetrator, which, I'm sure we've all done things that we wish we haven't. Hopefully nothing that hideous and hurtful towards other people. But that's something like that Ghislaine really doesn't have going for her, is she's never apologized. She's never really admitted any wrongdoing. And until you show the remorse, nobody's got any pity for you when you're a perpetrator. But yeah, with any issue, like, usually it's things like we're embarrassed, say if we were assaulted in that most violating and intimate way. A lot of people are super, super embarrassed and ashamed to tell that story. But once they start talking about it, they realize that it really doesn't show anything negative about them. It shows something, a lot of extremely negative things about the person that did that to them. So I'm so excited that you remembered that and that you put that in the chat. If you have a problem and you talk about it, it's not a problem anymore. LOL, I forgot half of that. May you remind me again. So yeah, did I go over it? It's only a problem if you can't talk about it. Once you start talking about it, and that's, again, as a professional psychotherapist, it's like my job is to facilitate the client to figure it out for themselves. Like, hopefully therapists aren't giving advice and telling people how to figure things out. They're simply giving a safe place to cultivate and nurture the person's ability for them to figure it out for themselves, ideally. Let's see. What did I miss? I've never been to New York. I do not like New York. It is way too big. I think I've been there twice. Not my thing. And maybe I just haven't been to the right places. One of my super wealthy friends from college was like, "Oh, you're going to love it. We'll go to Maxwell's Plum and use my daddy's credit card." And, he lived in Jersey, and we took the train in and we went to Maxwell's Plum and we used his daddy's credit card. I was just so not impressed. Maxwell's Plum was like a really expensive, fancy restaurant on a corner that was like gaudy. It was kind of like a Trumpster fire gold vomit place. And I do remember the bathroom being extremely cool. And I think there was an attendant. I think it's one of the few places I've been where there was an attendant in the bathroom. But the food wasn't even good. Like, I was not impressed with the atmosphere. I was not impressed with the food. I was just like, whatever. I have no idea how much it costs, but it was probably one of those places that didn't even have the prices on the menu, because otherwise my eyes probably would have bugged out of my head if I saw like, $40 for a sandwich or whatever the F it was. And yeah, I should look that up real quick to see if it's still around. It's a cute name. I'll give them that. Let's see. Maxwell's Plum Restaurant in New York City. When I just thought about it, like with Ghislaine Maxwell, but no, it's like from like a Christmas story or poem or something. So it says, oh God, it is so grossly over the top, like tacky, in my opinion. Maxwell's Plum, a legendary New York City restaurant and celebrity haunt, was known for its vibrant atmosphere, eclectic decor. I almost said electric. But yeah, it sounds like it's closed now. And as a popular singles bar, it was located on First Avenue and 64th Street from 1966 to 1988. That's funny because we went there in around 1986. It was spring break, my freshman year of high school. So yeah, it was 86. The restaurant was a hub for notable figures like Gloria Vanderbilt, Bill Blass, Barbara Streisand, and Donnie Trumpster Fire. Hilarious, because yeah, it's like gaudy like him. While it closed in 1988, a new Maxwell's Plum opened in Wellington, Florida in 2023 with Jenny Oz Leroy, daughter of the original owner, at the helm. I wonder if that's near Miami. Wellington, Florida. I don't even know. I've never heard of Wellington. I mean, I've heard of beef Wellington. Let's see what it says about Wellington, Florida. I bet it's near Miami. It said, I bet it's near Miami. It took that. Wellington, Florida location. Let's see. Palm Beach County. Yep, that's right. Donnie's backyard, his stomping ground, known as the winter equestrian capital of the world. It's a village in Palm Beach County, located about 66 miles north of Miami. So let me see what it says about how did I know it was near Donnie, Wellington, Florida. Um, distance to Mar-a-Lago. That's only 15 minutes away. How funny. It's a straight shot. You just drive directly inland from the Mar-a-Lago Club. How effing hilarious is that? OMG. Too freaking funny. It's just like that vomit gold, just what he does to everything. He just turns everything into golden dog poop, right? Too funny. Laugh or cry, right? Let's see. What does Patricia say? I'm so off subject. I'm going to just keep shuffling. No, 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 girl. You are right on subject. I love it. I love it. Because, yeah, we all have our problems. I haven't shared with you guys one of my favorite jokes about problems is to say it funny. Like, problems. We'll talk about our problems. That's what we'll do in our therapy is talk about our problems. It's just a really goofy thing. I don't know what else to say about it. But normally in my real life, every time I say the word problem, I say problems. Sort of like every time I say drawing, I say drawing instead of drawing. And that's a Michael, oh, the guy who played Austin Powers, Michael Myers joke. He plays like a rich little boy who's like stuck in the Trumpster Fire Tower all the time because his daddy's a businessman traveling around, and he just hangs out in the bathtub and does drawings all day. You guys know that character, right? It's sad and funny at the same time. Anyway, so no, thank you, Patricia, for your remembering that and jogging my memory. I agree about Little T saying that to Ghislaine was a nod to her. Yes, big time. Well, I think now it's becoming more and more abundantly clear that, because I've seen clips of interviews where reporters just a couple of days later were just like, why did you say that? The real famous clip is about 2 days later, I think, and it's a male interviewing him, and he says, well, because she just lost her boyfriend, like he was in jail and he's not alive, and I'd wish anybody well. And it's like, no, you wouldn't. You hate everyone. You wish no one well ever, except you yourself and the other guy, Donnie Two Dolls. You, right? Ugh. I agree about that. Okay. LOL, Annabes. Now I wish I could erase saying this off subject thing. I figured this whole chatting thing out. Oh, that's cute. When I was 18, a friend of mom was visiting and she said, oh, come with us to New York. We have a penthouse. And I just got a weird vibe and said, no, thank you. She was a nanny to the cute guy in the show Full House. The cute guy in the show Full House is John, starts with an S. He's super cute. And then remember the other guy who passed away in his Florida hotel room? The guy that was like the dork. And he was married to a hot woman like half his age with the last name Rizzo, Rizzo. I think they're both named John. Let's see. Sorry for the Full House actors. Full House actors. Full House actors. So you got John Stamos, that's the cute one, and then you got Bob Saget was the one who passed away. So I was always suspicious of Bob Saget's wife. Kelly Rizzo, Rizzo. Like, you can't make this crap up. That's too funny. So his unexpected passing away was January of 2022. So that was like 6 months, 7, 8 months before Kylie Rodney's disappearance. Now she's in a new relationship with an actor named Breckin Meyer. Publicly debuted the relationship February 2024. I'm sure she didn't know him when her husband died in the most bizarre fashion. I want to know how old she is. Let's see. Kelly Rizzo age. They had a 21-year age difference. He was 65, so she would have been 44 when he passed away. They married only like less than 4 years before he passed away. And then here's an article in People magazine from March of 2024. Kelly Rizzo hits back after criticism for moving on from Bob Saget. I remember it seeming like she moved on like a day later. That's what I remember. Anyway, enough of my voice to text thing. my habit. This is how I sleuth. I look everything up. And so a lot of times while I'm watching videos, I'm looking stuff up I go nuts. If I'm watching a video and I don't have my phone to look stuff up, it's really frustrating. It's kind of like my hands are tied. So that's one of the ways, because yesterday someone was asking me how I do so much research. So that's how my little brain can just run with things while I'm watching one video. I'll be looking stuff up on my phone. And I'm looking up a lot of stuff on my phone. Like, I'm not putting it down, basically. So imagine that, me not putting it down. Like, I try to put it down when I'm on live with you guys, but I do have trouble, I must admit. Me and my Google habit. So yeah, back to your comment there, Anna Bees. You were 18 years old. I'm really glad that you didn't go. And yeah, I mean, John Stamos was hot. I would have easily fallen prey to that. Easily. But yeah, I was in many situations like that in Los Angeles and Palm Springs. I was really lucky. I skated out of so many things that could have turned out like a little island type of trap. So have you guys seen the picture of what kind of looks like a Egyptian pyramid? It's like an homage to an Egyptian pyramid. This is what I'm talking about. And I apologize that it's so hard to show crap on my phone because the glare. I don't know how to make the glare stop. Let's see if I turn that light out and then turn it. So there, you can kind of see the building. So that's one of the buildings on Little E's Island. And it has gotten a lot of criticism. I don't know that much about it, but it's one of the reasons it's gotten a lot of criticism is because it was not built the way the plans said that it was going to be built. You know, like you have building codes and stuff. And I guess it was supposed to be like an arena or an amphitheater or something for performances. And instead, it's just this very bizarre building. It's really small. And I don't know what it is, but looking at that building gives me the creeps. Like it's a portal to hell. I'll just say it. I'm thinking that there's like a long shaft. The elevator just drops you straight into hell. And then you're part of the Handmaid's Tunnel fetus farming situation that doesn't exist, right? Anyway, I'm curious if you have any thoughts. viewers. If you do, comment away. I'm going to get caught up on your comments and then I'm going to look at my notes. We're just over an hour, so maybe we'll keep this one a little on the shorter side. Yesterday's was so long, I haven't even been able to watch it. I mean, I've watched like the first hour of it, and I think that was about as far as I got. I always like to review to see if I made any promises of videos that I said, yeah, I'll put a link in the description. Because sometimes I say that and forget, right? If I don't have it written down. And also in case I said like Ivana when I meant Ivanka or something like that, or if I said a 6 when I meant a 7. I mean, just weird, stupid mistakes. I like to catch them. Sometimes I don't sweat it. I'm like, okay, that happens. No big deal. People will know what I meant. And I see other content creators do stuff like that all the time. It's funny for me when I'm watching like really big content creators and knowing that they made mistakes. So like a lot of these really big content creators have no idea that Virginia Giuffre's father worked at Mar-a-Lago. And I think he worked there for a long time. I think he was like a mechanical engineer, like kind of like a maintenance man, but that he worked there for a long time, I think. Let me see what Google says. But that's how she got the job, was through him. And she was hired when she was 16, and Ghislaine did hit on her when she was still 16, and she was assaulted by little E when she was still 16. It was like probably a week before she turned 17. But they always want to say she was 17, and she wasn't. She was 16. And there's a reason for that, because in some states, that's the cutoff for, 17 is older than 16. And in some states, 16 is jailbait. In other states, it's not. I mean, anyway, what was I going to look up real quick about her dad? And I think his name is Sky. Let's see what it says. Virginia Giuffre's father, Sky Roberts, employment at Mar-a-Lago. So yeah, he worked as a maintenance man at the Mar-a-Lago. Let me see if it'll tell me how long. What years was, and I still had a lot of the sentence in here. So what year was Sky Roberts employed at Mar-a-Lago? Let's see if it'll tell me. He was hired on April 11th, 2000. And then I'm just going to look up real quick. About Virginia. And I asked what year was Virginia Roberts hired there. It's weird that's not telling me. Isn't that weird? Like it's kind of scrubbed, maybe. What year did Virginia Giuffre get hired at Mar-a-Lago? So it was the same year. Okay, so I don't know how long he worked there though. I think he worked there for a while, but so it looks like she got the job right after he got the job. Anyway, that's how I do the research. A lot of it. Sorry if I'm boring somebody. Some of it, I don't really get bored doing the research. Like I'm fascinated because like my brain just jumps from one thing to another. But yeah, I try not to do too much of it while I'm on live because I want to talk with you guys and just go off the top of my head. I like just kind of having a conversation. I think that he was red rummed. Patricia Moss says, I totally think he was. The whole story is sketch AF. Okay. And I missed some of these. Sorry. Anna B says, exactly, Jazz. Little T never wished anyone well. Well, he wished his friend Ghislaine well when she was in jail for trafficking children because that's normal, not gross. I mean, there's like no crime worse. And yeah. Anna says, yes, I couldn't think of his name. John Stamos. I think Bob was red rummed. Patricia says, I'm not saying anything bad about John Stamos, but his old nanny kind of gave me the creeps. Maybe it was just me. Well, and it could be that he had friends coming over. I mean, a penthouse apartment is always kind of like, it's kind of like the Mile High Club or something. So yeah, but I'm glad that you specified that because, John Stamos is just so cute. I'd hate to think about him being a perv. Not John Stamos. But yeah, I think Bob Saget was a weirdo, and that's why he ended up with Rizzo wife. I would never marry anybody with the last name Rizzo. I knew somebody with that last name, and no, run. If somebody's got that last name, run for the hills. Right? It's sort of like I don't know, Manson or what's a good mafia name? I knew a guy named Guido in college, and I thought he was really cute. It was funny. He was actually from Chicago. So he had to be connected. Guido from Chicago. Come on. Somebody my age named Guido. That was hilarious. But I thought the name was cool. I thought it rocked. Anyway, yeah, it's like somebody having the last name Gotti. Run for your life, right? I agree. The building is creepy. I know. It's so creepy, and it's a very small building. So, like, what would be in there other than a portal to hell? I mean, why would you have a building so small? And why would you build something? Oh man, my brain just went somewhere. This is why I like coming on live. Why would you build something that is not what you told the building code inspector people what you're going to build? But it makes me think that if it was a stage, I never thought about like backstage passes, that might take you to a tunnel, right? I mean, I'm sure a lot of that does. I mean, there's a lot of legitimate tunnels in sports arenas and places where people perform. But then there's like going to be the secret tunnels. So yeah, that would make sense that they wanted to build a sports arena or whatever kind of performance. I think it was like a performing arts type of arena, amphitheater, but maybe that was a cover for, they just wanted to say something that they were building so that they would have an excuse for building tunnels. And I really do wonder, this is just off the top of my head, if their friend, the Big E, with his boring company, might have gotten a contract with them. Like, isn't that so creepy that Big E owns a boring company? Ugh. Ugh. I never thought of it, but one of my sisters got pregnant at 16 and her boyfriend was 18. They got married and they still are together. My niece is 6 years younger than me. Well, that is, it depends what state you're in, but for a lot of states, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing, fortunately or unfortunately, as Trumpster Fire said about some terrible stuff. um I don't want to get sidetracked here. What am I talking about? That that if there's less than a 4-year age difference, so like even if he was 19, that's still, in a lot of states, that's not something that anybody would prosecute. If it's, I think, the 4-year age difference or more, and that 16 is also kind of, in a lot of states, a safe age. So depending on what state they were in, it's a non-issue. Um, but like I said, I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, they're happily married. It sounds like they're still together. That's cool. I hope they're happily married. I mean, just because they're still married doesn't mean they're happily married, right? But marriage is hard. Marriage is not easy. So you made me realize that he could have went to jail for that. He's not the predator. um BIL, brother-in-law. Oh, I'm glad to know he's not the predator brother-in-law. And yeah, I think in a lot of states that wouldn't even be like a yellow flag, let alone a red flag. Laters, everyone. I'm off YouTube for the night. Fred Field. Night, it's 5 o'clock. So what, it's 4 o'clock your time? But yeah, you got to get back to work mañana. You have to wake up at 2 in the morning. Good for you for being so disciplined. I hope you have blackout curtains and all, and white noise and everything you need to sleep in this crazy heat. You guys, something I wanted to talk about with you. I never heard of this until like yesterday. Corn fields are ruining our heat in the Midwest. They make it more humid and they make it hotter. Can you believe this? It makes so much sense because Ohio is very humid. It's very hot in the summers. We have a lot of corn in Ohio. And so I've heard the term corn sweat before, but I had no idea what it meant. So it's been getting a lot of publicity, I think, for like the last week on the news and on the internet. And my kids told me about it. And I was like, what? That's a conspiracy theory. It's real. So corn is making our summer miserable, you guys. It's not just the children of the corn, it's the corn itself. Let's see. Bye, Fred. Have a great day. What's wrong with Rizzo? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that offensive? Is there somebody in your life that's a good Rizzo? It's just like it's kind of like a gangsta Italian name, kind of like Guido or Gotti, in my opinion. That's all. I mean, I'm being tongue in cheek. But yeah, I did know somebody with that last name that you definitely wanted to run from your life from, but that was more who he was, not his name. Oh, wow. I just got flagged again. It's the same subject as Bob Saget. I mentioned some more names. It will not get through. I will R mail it to you. I think you meant E. That's wild. The same subject. Wow. See, I think that they are buckling down on the censorship because of what's going on right now, currently in the news. And whoever the owner of the YouTube is, I'm not sure. But I think that they were one of the billionaires with Donnie Two Dolls at the inauguration on the stage with all the rest of them. Let me see. Who owns YouTube? Now it's really going to flag me. So Google owns YouTube. And let's see. Google. Who owns Google? Alphabet Inc. Okay. That's so funny. It's like all these shell companies. Let's see. Who owns Alphabet Inc.? It's going to give me another company. What do you want to bet? It's just going to keep going company to company. Alphabet Inc. is a publicly traded company, meaning it's owned by its shareholders, while institutional investors hold a majority of the shares. Control rests with the co-founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. This is due to Alphabet's unique multi-class share structure. Class A shares, Class B shares, Class C shares. So Larry Page and Sergey Brin. I want to write those names down. Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Okay. That was my doggy. Did you hear that? Coco, Mookie, come here, babies. They're so funny. That was one of the reasons I wanted to clear out the clutter so there's more room for the puppy dogs to hang out and be part of the show, right? Yes, my sister and her husband are happily married. Well, that's awesome. Is anyone familiar with Twitch, the DJ on the Ellen show? That's all I'm allowed to send through. No, let's see what it says. Who plays Twitch on the Ellen DeGeneres show? Okay, I'm not going to say his name because of what you said. And no way. He passed away when he was 19 by self. Huh. So he rose to fame on So You Think You Can Dance. Oh, he was 40 at the time. Interesting. And when was this? Was this just last year? Let's see. When did Stephen Boss pass away? December 13th, 2022. So exactly a month to the day after the Idaho 4 happened and a day before Brent Kopaka got swatted. December 13th, 2022. He was found in Encino. It was ruled self. Huh. I'm going to look into that some more. That's interesting. I'm glad that he wasn't just 19. Maybe he was famous from like 03 until 2022. That's probably what it was, because that's what it said was 03 to 2022. So I was thinking maybe he was only 19 years old. We have corn here too, but it's every other year. This year it's soybeans. Long ad. Sorry, I missed some. Oh, I'm apologetic for that, Anna Bees. When you said corn, I thought you were going to talk about Corn, the band. I'm glad you didn't, because I love corn and I love that corn that you eat. I know I love corn on the cob. I love corn's delicious. I mean, it's kind of healthy because it's a vegetable, but it's very starchy. So yeah, not too much, but man, with just butter and salt, it's the best, especially fresh corn on the cob. And it's good in chili. Yeah. Patricia, yes, I'm familiar with the Twitch. Evening, everyone. Hellaby says, hello, missed the notification for this show. Unfortunately, Donnie is visiting Scotland just now. Well, let's see, he got there Friday, so he's probably not leaving until the day after tomorrow, I guess, might be his plan. But is he going to try to squeeze out some secret sweetheart deal with Ghislaine while he's in Scotland? It doesn't seem like the people in Scotland are too happy to have him there. We've missed you, Annabee says. I'm sorry he's there visiting. I know. Well, and it's like, what a time to go open your freaking golf course and play golf. Again, he's just trying to distract everyone. And then he had some like impromptu negotiation with the EU leader. And so they made a deal, a 15% tariff. Everything's great. It's all good. Yeah, good try. Nobody gives a damn about your BS. No one's going to get distracted. September is right around the corner. But there's a lot of possibilities of things going sideways between now and then. I don't think that it's going to nothing's going to be put on hold other than the government. Damn, I definitely need to get an alias. Everyone take note. I'm not self-injurious. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just pretend it's an alias. Change your first name to Pete, and then it's like Pete Moss that you use when you're gardening, right? I don't know about all the stuff about Ellen. I think it's because she was popular and gay, and the smear campaign could be manufactured by the right. Absolutely right. I don't know either. I know that there's been rumors about her and the Diddy stuff, and definitely she's gay, and definitely she was like one of the first famous people to come out, and she had that funny, she was a hilarious comedian, and then she had that funny sitcom called By the Book, and she owned the bookstore, and it was just really good. And she was together with the actress that Anne Hesh, who had a lot of like maybe bipolar stuff, and then she had a horrible passing away in that car accident where she was like on fire, and then she like was like practically in a body bag on the stretcher. I think she'd been in that car fire for like an hour. Like she crashed into someone's house, all this crazy stuff leading up to it, and like she bought a wig, and I don't know if she was on rugs. But then when she was on the stretcher, and like I said, practically in a body bag, and then she just like shot up her torso, like she sat straight up, and she wasn't burned. And my husband, who's an EMT, said that can be like the body's reaction to whatever. Like he said that wasn't as outrageous as the internet was making it out to be. That it was sort of like a I don't know, the body's reaction to being burned. I don't know, because again, like her skin was not charred, so it was just bizarre. I'll put a link to a video of Christine Randall. That was how I learned about that situation. But like I said, my husband's an EMT, and he said that that's totally explainable by medical whatever. Maybe you know something about it, Annabise. I don't know. And then Ellen got together with Portia, the one that was her last name Ross, Portia de Ross. That Portia de Rossi, I think, the one who was on Ally McBeal. And I think they might still be together. They might have broken up. I'm not sure. But yeah, her and Anne Hesh were such a cute couple. Anne Hesh was like married to a guy, I think, when they first got together. I can't remember. And then maybe Anne Hesh was together with a guy after they broke up. I don't think that they were together when Anne got in that car accident. Like, she had done some pretty wild things. She was probably bipolar. It could have been Ruggs. I don't know. Anyway, Patricia, I think you're fine. It was in a motel as well. Some peeps, same peeps that did Bob Saget. Wow, Patricia. And then also, excuse me, two of Ghislaine and Little E's victims also passed away by self, allegedly, in hotels. And one of them was a year after Ghislaine was prosecuted, and I think she testified in Ghislaine's trial. I was mentioning her the other day. And I might have her name handy. I'm sure I do, because I switched notebooks. So now here I am with 3 notebooks. But I think I know right where her name is. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, it's right here where I found it. Yay! Carolyn Adriano with the 5 kids. Let me see if she testified in Ghislaine's trial. Did Carolyn Adriano testify in Ghislaine Maxwell's trial? Yep, she did. Carolyn Adriano testified, and then she passed away. Oh, there's something from 3 days ago about it too. She testified that she went to Little E's home more than 100 times. And I think she was 14 when it started. But so a year after Ghislaine was sentenced, she unalived self in a fancy hotel in Palm Beach. I think she was 37 years old and had 5 kids and a couple $100,000 in the bank. And her and her husband were buying a new property. And then Lee Sky Patrick is the other one. She passed away in 2017. I want to say that she testified, or she was going to testify, in the Sweetheart deal that got fouled up with their illegal deal. Because, let me see. Did Lee Sky Patrick testify against Jeffrey Epstein? It's not giving me anything about Lee Sky Patrick. So she passed away in a seedy motel. So she's not as important. I don't think it did her. No, it didn't do her name right. Let's see. Lee Sky Patrick died in 2017. So she was abused by Little E. Also, I want to mention that Lee has an identical twin. So she was found in the West Palm Beach, Florida motel on May 30th, 2017. She was one of the victims. And so Virginia was the third of Little E's accusers that allegedly passed away by a self-unaliving. So Lee Sky Patrick was the first one that we know of in 2017. And then Carolyn Adriano in 2023, and then Virginia Giuffre in 2025, 10 days before the Puffy Daddy trial started. Yeah. Anyway, I said I was going to wrap up soon, and I think that I should, but I'm going to read all of your comments and go over my notes, make sure I have everything. But yeah, the self. Oh, thank you. Autonomic response, Anna Bees. Yes, that's exactly right. Twitch wife was in a place of work as well. Caught what I'm saying? Twitch wife in a place of work. I'm not catching it, but I will. It was in a motel. Same peeps, Saget. Yeah. And I'm wondering how close where Bob Saget was might be to, I don't know, the new Maxwell's Plums restaurant, if you catch my drift, what that was close to. Especially because Bob Saget had that connection with the Olsen twins, and who knows what those girls were subjected to. I mean, they both seem like they've been through a lot. We know that one of them was with the hottie from Australia when he passed away, the one that was in Brokeback Mountain, that was with Michelle. How come I can't think of his name? Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was with an actress named Michelle. When he passed away, she had his baby, but he was doing rugs with not Ashley Olsen, but the other one at her apartment when he passed away, Heath Ledger. And yeah, and she was so protected, like she got such special protection, and maybe because she's connected to this much bigger thing. Not to be a crazy conspiracy theorist or anything, but come on, this is all kind of making sense, isn't it? I'm curious about Twitch's wife. I got to check that out. I'll write it down so I don't forget. But yeah, anything that you think you can say here, Patricia, feel free. Autonomic response was what Anne Hesh had when her torso, when she popped up like perpendicular on the stretcher getting into the ambulance. And like I said, I'll put a link to a Christina Randall video. I think it was like one of the very first Christina Randall videos I ever saw. Oh, two dolls, please, you can't hide anymore. Ellen definitely did a friend. She ran to England. Oh, thank you for the info, Patricia. Anne Hesh was on to the trafficking, and she was about to blow the roof off. Well, so allegedly was Chris Cornell, and then the singer from Lincoln Park, Cheshire. I think that's his last name. Those two. We're working on a movie about it, right? Chris Cornell and his buddy Cheshire from Lincoln Park. Chris Cornell from, I'm just thinking the Spoon Man song, Soundgarden, is that right? And Black Hole Sun, I love that song. Let's see. Lincoln Park singer who passed away. Chester Bennington. He passed away July 20th, 2017. Interesting. That was the same year that the first one of Little E's accusers passed away. Again, all of these people are allegedly self-unalived in hotel rooms, right? Like, you definitely don't want to do these things out of doors, and you definitely don't want to do these things on your property, and you don't know if you go to their property if you might be discovered by a video camera or something. So the one that was in my other notebook that I just set down. Just interesting that Chester Benningfield was 2017, and I just looked up Lee Sky Patrick that was also 2017. Dang. So Chester was July 20th of 17. Lee Sky Patrick, date of death. May 30th of 2017, so 2 months earlier. Interesting, huh? Interesting. I don't know where he was, though. If he was in West Palm Beach, Florida. Why don't we find out? I know that Chris Cornell was on tour. Where did Chester Bennington pass away? Palos Verdes Estates, California, at his home. Okay, good to know. Good to know. What did I miss here? Anna Hesh was onto the trafficking, about to blow the roof off. Let me highlight that one. She literally sat up when they were putting her in the ambulance. It's on film. There was not even any burns on her. It was on film. I know, Patricia. That was in the what's her name? You know, that I said a few minutes ago. Dang, I'm like totally blanking. My brain shutting down. Christina Randall video. Yeah, you see it all. It's crazy. It's crazy for anybody who hasn't seen it. You can Google it, or like I said, I'll put a link in the description to the Christina Randall video. Talking about Hesh. Yes, I meant wasn't any burns on her when she sat up. I know. And she was supposedly like burning for an hour, right? Wasn't it an hour? While they were putting her in the ambulance, they literally pushed her back down and covered her. It's on film. I know, it's almost like she was in the body bag. I don't know if it was a body bag or not, because it wasn't the coroner, and the coroner would be the only one with a body bag, and it was white. And I think body bags are usually black. I'm not sure. I'm not like a body bag expert. It was Chester Bennington. Yes, Soundgarden. For Chris Cornell. Sorry, I'm in the sun. I meant piece of work his wife was. Oh, okay, good. Good to know. Thank you for the clarification on that's on that other guy, Twitch, from the Ellen show. There are so many rumors about all these passings. I don't know what to believe. I actually have to see proof. Like about BK. Where's the proof? He was working on that same movie. Oh, wait a second. Patricia Moss. Twitch was working on the same movie with Cornell and Bennington? What? Did the movie ever come out? I have to check all this stuff out. And same movie. Wow. Anne was working on the same movie. Okay. So Anne, I got to write all this down. Anne, Twitch, Chester, and Cornell trafficking movie. Interesting. So let me look over my notes, man. We're getting close to the 2-hour mark. How does that happen? It's so much fun hanging out with you guys. So I wanted to mention some of the other content creators that I really like a lot these days, because I was mentioning them off the top of my head yesterday. So I won't re-mention any of those, I don't think. But it does say in my notes that Ryan D was the guest on the Sean Atwood video today that got taken down when I was halfway through watching it. And yeah, I think he called the president a child banger. So this might have something to do with why it got taken down. And they were saying that Netanyahu owns the Trumpster fire, which I think he does. But yeah, this is why it got taken down, I'm sure. And that building that I showed you the picture of on Epstein Island that I said is so creepy to me, they call it a temple. That's even creepier. That makes me think that it's some kind of satanic thing. Like I said, I didn't even know that they called it a temple when I just looked at the photograph of it, and I just got this feeling like portal to hell. Ugh. Let's see. So Dan Abrams, I love him, and I think he has his own channel now. I've always appreciated his investigative journalism. Don Lemon, also awesome. Tennessee Brando, if you haven't heard of him. Mary Trump is a favorite. Again, the women are smarter. She's like top shelf. And who is that? Kirby Summers, another female, also top shelf. You know, Kirby tells the truth about some heinous crap. So she seems a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I think that's because she's lived through the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She's, I think, really solid. And then, of course, Rabbit, who I talk about sometimes, the down the rabbit hole. She just calls herself Rabbit. I think that's cute. And then the Daily Beast is a really good YouTube channel too. I really like what they present. And I wanted to talk more with you guys, maybe in the next video, about that Truman, the carrier, the Navy carrier that was on the Red Sea that lost 3 Hornets, 3 of the fighter jets, and it was an fender bender where it injured itself. All of that happened from this past December up until I think like this April. And it's just really suspicious to me. Like that to me seems like more loss on a carrier ship than probably decades of loss on carrier ships combined. I don't know. I haven't done the research yet, but I'm very suspicious. This is under Donnie Tudall's watch, although December, it was still Biden when it got into the fender bender on the water in the Red Sea. And then the 2 Hornets that fell overboard, I think with the first one was maybe February, and then maybe one in April, and then a third in the end of April, and then the third one like 8 days later in May, something like that. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So in December, December was one of the Hornets, not the fender bender. The fender bender was later. Let me check out what I have written down here. In December, they called it friendly fire. And then the damage to the carrier was mid-February when it had a little fender bender. Late April, they were towing a Hornet, and they may have been under attack, maybe like it was an evasive action, but they're very evasive about that. And then May, it was a landing strip mishap, and it just went into the water, and the two people that were piloting it were ejected. Craziness. So Michael Jeffries used liquid Viagra, you guys. So Michael Jeffries is the Abercrombie Fitch guy. He's 80 years old. He was arrested like this last October, and then he was deemed like he has like dementia allegedly. Like he's not well enough to stand trial, which is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It took 10 years before he was arrested. So he is allegedly another protege of Leslie. And he abused many, many people. And yeah, it did involve Hollister, the company, the clothing company, Hollister, as well as Abercrombie and Fitch. I think they purchased Hollister and some other ones. Anyway, he would abuse people with liquid Viagra. He would shave their whole bodies. He would do trigger warning, hot enemas, and he gets nothing, not even a slap on the wrist. And yeah. What else do I have here? I think that's pretty much it for now. That lavender room on the 68th floor, I started to mention yesterday about how the vice president of one of the vice presidents for Trumpster Fire's company that was affiliated with the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, the female one, her name is Barbara Rez, R-E-S, and she was the one who told the story. She wrote a book, I think, called The Tower of Lies in 2020. And did she write a book called Tower of Lies and also another book or something called All Alone on the 68th Floor from New York to Atlantic City? So the 68th floor in the Trump Tower is where the lavender room of Ivanka's, the picture that I have in the still shot that I used for the thumbnail. So I just thought it was really interesting that she titled her book All Alone on the 68th Floor from New York to Atlantic City. And, you know, I would imagine that the 68th floor might have been the floor that Donnie lived on. I don't know. I'll do research. I'm not going to pick up my phone again. I promise. Promise. Anyway, so it was yesterday when I was talking about Mark Grossinger Edis and Jonathan Benav, Benanav, and another one, Stephen Hyde. He was the one who was the father of 7, and he was the mastermind behind the Taj Mahal, the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. And the three VPs that I just mentioned, Mark, Jonathan, and Stephen, all passed away on that helicopter that then Donnie pretended that he was going to be on that helicopter. And Barbara Rez is the VP that outed him about that. So it's just insane. She says that he said this to her the same day that they all passed away. He said, "You're going to hate me for this, but I can get publicity and I can't stop myself," basically. But then he also said the thing about being among the first responders on 9/11. Like, he just doesn't know when to stop. And that's the thing, is like, he's his own worst enemy. He just goes nuts with, you know, he's the type, you give him an inch and he'll take a mile. Absolutely disgusting. So he was working on the same movie. Anne Hesh was working on the same movie with Cornell and Bennington. No, Anna Hesh was working on the same movie, not Twitch. Gotcha, Patricia. Thanks for the clarification. All right, my lovelies, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much for being here. It's almost 2 hours. I just don't want it to be too long. I really appreciate you guys. I mentioned last week, I think I'm getting braces next week. So I think I have an appointment tomorrow. So it might be hard for me to do my video. So I'm not going to commit to a time, but I will try to do a video tomorrow. That's interesting if those 3 people were working together on that movie that never came out. What movie? So, all right, love and light. Have a really good evening. Get your protein and your veggies. Stay hydrated. And thanks a million for being here. See you soon. And Anna B says, goodbye, everyone. Have a great day. Yes. Love you guys.